Good morning, students. Welcome again. We will start with the next chapter of NCRT, Class 10 Geography, Chapter 6 Manufacturing Industries. Today we will discuss about the meaning of the term manufacturing. Then we will discuss about the importance of manufacturing industries, contribution of industry to national economy, industrial location, and finally we will discuss about the classification of industries. As we know, manufacturing is a secondary sector activity. In this chapter, we will purely speak about the industries that manufacture things. The secondary sector of the economy deals with finished goods. Manufacturing means the processing of raw materials into valuable products in large quantities. For example, making sugar from sugarcane, making paper from wood, making aluminium from bauxite. Cotton yarn is manufactured using the raw cotton, and the cotton is then used as raw material to manufacturing cotton textiles. So these are the few examples of manufacturing. So manufacturing means it is the process of raw materials converting into valuable products in large quantities. The people employed in the secondary sector converts the primary sector into finished goods. The basic economic strength of a nation is measured by the development of manufacturing industries. This is absolutely true because at the end of the day, you need to make things in your own country to earn profit. You cannot always depend on importing things. Now let's analyze the importance of manufacturing industries. Manufacturing is considered as the backbone of any nation's economic development. Let's quickly go through the points that justifies the importance of manufacturing sector. The first is the reducing dependence. India is an agrarian country. It means in India, almost 60% of the people are dependent on the agricultural sector. Now, slowly, this dependency reduced. It means now more job opportunities are created in the secondary sector and in the tertiary sector. So now people's dependency on the agricultural sector, it is reduced to a great extent. The second point that highlighting the need of manufacturing is reducing poverty. When there is an industrial boost in a country, obviously employment opportunities will increase. Manufacturing sector is creating large job opportunities that helps to reduce the problems of unemployment and poverty. Today, we have many industries in the backward and rural areas resulted in employment and a reduction in poverty. Thus, the standard of living of the people will also increase. So this is the main philosophy behind the public sector industries as well as the joint sector ventures in India. Public sector industries and joint sector industries we will learn in the next slides. Then the third main reason highlighting the need of manufacturing is foreign exchange. It brings foreign exchange to our country. By the export of manufactured goods, our trade with other countries will increase and that will result in earning foreign exchange. The next point is national prosperity. Countries which convert their raw materials into wide variety of valuable finished goods have higher chances of economic prosperity. If you are able to produce something better and better every time, the value automatically goes up. If the value goes up, that is a success. that makes the market richer. Then the people spend more and more to purchase goods, and when people spend more, the money is going to be in rotation and the economy will prosper. So these are the few reasons that highlighting the importance of the manufacturing sector. Now let's move on to the next heading, highlighting about agriculture and industry move hand in hand. It means the agricultural sector and the industrial sector are interdependent to each other. Currently, in the agricultural sector, we are using fertilizers, PVC pipes, irrigation pumps, pesticides, different types of machines, and so on. So, where all these are manufacturing? All these are manufactured in the industries. And the raw materials which is used to make the final products, that is getting from the agricultural sector. So this is what the meaning that agriculture and industry should move hand in hand. So this development and competitiveness of manufacturing industry has helped agriculturalists in improving production and efficiency. Now let's analyze the contribution of industry to national economy. As per the economic survey, the manufacturing sector is stagnated. It means it has not shown a significant growth. Let us analyze the recent economic data. In your NCERT textbook, it is almost a decade old. The recent data is not updated in your textbook. But let us analyze the recent economic data. As per the recent economic survey, Indian economy is estimated to grow at 7.6%, and the growth in industrial sector is estimated at 7.3%. So if you see now, the manufacturing is once again growing. 10 years back, the manufacturing sector was stagnant. There was not much of rapid growth. The reason behind that was the government did not make any policy interventions. Currently, the Indian government has taken certain initiatives to boost up the manufacturing sector. One such initiative, or is one such step that has been taken by the BJP government to boost the manufacturing sector, that is the Make in India concept. So the BJP government has taken the concept of Make in India. It means manufacturing the products in India itself. And the government has also allocated some budget in the form of investment by giving loans to the startups or the small scale and medium enterprises. The National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council has been set up with this objective. So these all are the efforts that has been taken by the government to boost the manufacturing sector. Now let's move on to the next heading, highlighting about the industrial location. So the industrial location, or else where to start an industry, that is basically influenced by all these factors. So an industrial location is not based on only one factor. It is industrial location is decided on the basis of all these factors, on many factors, specifically land, then labor, then capital, raw material, market, power, water, transport. So all these facilities are influenced by the on the decision of where to start an industry. So we need to start an industry, we need cheap labor. Availability of cheap labor is necessary, and for the low cost of production. So that is one of the prominent thing that an entrepreneur will check when he want to start an industry. Then another prominent factor is capital. Capital is necessary for developing infrastructure and for the entire manufacturing process, and even for meeting the manufacturing expense, capital is required. Then availability of raw materials at a cheaper price, or else at a lesser price, and not only availability of labor at a lesser price, at the same time abundant availability of raw materials is also required. Then proper market facility to sell the products, and good power facility, electricity facility, cheap and continuous supply of power is extremely necessary. Then banking and insurance facilities, then favorable government policies, water facilities, then transportation facilities, transporting the goods which is produced in the industries to the market. So for that, we need good transportation facility, good communication facilities. So if you find all these at one place, then you will have an ideal location to set up your own industry. And if you don't have all these at one place, then you can make it available, or it can be arranged at a lower cost. And that's how cost cutting and planning comes into play. And it is a known fact that after an industrial activity starts, the urbanization follows. And the reason is simply because of employment. So we all know this concept that if an industry start in a particular area, it will be followed by urbanization. It means people from the rural areas will migrate to this particular area where an entrepreneur started an industry, because the reason is a lot of employment opportunities in that industry. It is absolutely true that the industrialization and urbanization also goes hand in hand. Same way we learned that the agriculture and industry move in hand. Same way, industrialization and urbanization also goes hand in hand. Urbanization is nothing but people. And if there are no people, industries will not function. Sometimes a businessman need to rely on other business. To run an industry, there are many services that needs to take care of. Like cities provide services such as banking, insurance, as I said, transport facility, labor facility, financial advisors, and so on. The next point is highlighting about agglomeration of industries. Many industries tend to come together to make use of the advantages offered by the urban centers. This is termed as agglomeration economy. For example, in the pre-independence period, the manufacturing units located near the seas, because seaways was the perfect way of trading to other places. In fact, the British and other European trading companies came to India through seaport. Now let's quickly understand the industry and market linkage. To set up an industry, we need the inputs like raw materials, land, labor, capital, infrastructure, and so on. So all these inputs we need to transport to the factory to get the final products. So the manufacturing will happen in the factory, and we will get the final product, that is the output. Output means the finished product. Then this finished product that will go to the market, where people buy that product by paying certain amount. And the entrepreneurs will reinvest this money in the business. So the industry again restarts the production of that product. So the key to decision of the factory location is the least cost, government policies, and skilled labor. The next slide is explaining about the classification of industry. Industries are classified on the basis of the raw material, main role, capital investment, ownership, and bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. Let's analyze one by one. First, let's analyze the classification of industries on the basis of raw materials. On the basis of raw materials, industries are classified into agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. Agro-based industries use plant and animal-based products as their raw material. For example, jute industry, woolen industry, cotton industry, rubber industry, tea industry, and so on. Mineral-based industries are the primary industries that use mineral ores as their raw material. For example, petrochemical industry, iron and steel industry, cement industry, and so on. The product of these industries feed other industries. Example, iron made from the iron ore is the product of the mineral-based industry, and that is used as a raw material for manufacturing of a number of other products such as heavy machinery, building materials, railway coaches, and so on. Now let's move on to the next classification. Another sort of classification is on the basis of the main role. According to their main role, it is industries are divided into basic or key industries and consumer industries. Basic or key industries supply their products or raw materials to manufacture other goods. For example, copper smelting, aluminum smelting, then iron and steel industry, and so on. Then we have the consumer industries. Consumer industries which are purely dedicated in making things which are used by the consumers in their day-to-day life. For example, toothpaste, sugar, paper, fan, and so on. Another classification is classification on the basis of capital investment. Capital, when we talk about capital means the kind of money that is involved. Capital means money. The money that is involved is known as capital. On the basis of the capital investment, we divide industries into two: small scale industries and large scale industries. So small scale industries means we use lesser amount of capital as investment. Not only lesser amount of capital, as well as technology also. Lesser amount of capital and lesser amount of technology as compared to the large scale industries. And we use only less number of people or else less number of laborers in the small scale industry. And investment in the small scale industry is up to 1 crore. The next is the large scale industry. Large scale industries produce large amount of products, and investment of capital is higher than the small scale industry. And not only investment, even technology used is superior in large scale industries comparing to the small scale industries. And the investment is more than 1 crore. Then for examples for the large scale industries are the production of the automobiles, heavy machineries, then cotton textile industries, cement industry. All these are the examples for large scale industries. Now let's move on to the next classification, explaining about how industries are classified on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, industries are classified as public, private, joint sector, and cooperative sector. So first, let's analyze what is public sector industries. Public sector means, as the name says, it is owned and operated by the government government agencies. Example, Bell, SAIL, GAIL, all these are the examples of public industries. Bell means Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, SAIL, Steel Authority of India, GAIL, Gas Authority of India, and then all these are the examples of public sector industries. The next is private sector industries. Private sector industries means it is owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals. Tisco, Bajaj, then Dabur Industries, Airtel, ICICI Bank, Wipro, Reliance, all these are examples of private sector industries. The next is joint sector industries. Joint sector industries are which are jointly run by the state and individuals or group of individuals. It means individuals also will be a part of the joint sector, as well as government interference also is there, government also. So it means the joint sector industries are jointly run by the state as well as the individuals or a group of individuals. Example for the joint sector industries are Oil India Limited, then Maruti Udyog. So all these are the example of joint sector industries. Then we will move on to the cooperative sector. Cooperative sector means it is owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials workers, or both. So they pool the resources and share the profit. They will share the profit. So cooperative sector industries means which is owned and operated by the producers, then suppliers of raw materials and workers, or both. They pool the resources and they share the profits. Example for the cooperative sector is the coir industry in Kerala, the sugar industry in Maharashtra, then the Anand Milk Union and the Sudha Dairy. All these are the examples of cooperative sector industries. Anand Milk Union means the Amul Dairy is known as the Anand Milk Union. And the last kind of classification is it is based on the bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. On the basis of the bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods, the industries are classified into heavy industries and light industries. Heavy industries used heavy and bulk raw materials and produce heavy materials such as iron and steel industry. Like any sorts of heavy industries is an example for the heavy industries. Then the light industries. Light industries use light raw materials and produce light goods such as electrical industries, which consist of wires, bulbs, fuse, etc. All these are light output. Comparing to the machinery or big tools. In heavy industries, they will produce machinery or big tools. So comparing to the heavy industries, in the light industries, they will produce the products which is having light output, which is having light weight. So such kind of industries is known as light industries. So by this we concluded the first part of Geography Chapter 6, Manufacturing Industries. Now let's have a quick recap of today's class. Today we learned about manufacturing. Manufacturing means the production of goods in larger quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products. So the production of goods in larger quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products is known as manufacturing. Manufacturing belongs to the secondary sector, in which the primary materials are processed and converted into finished goods. Then we discussed about the importance of the manufacturing industries. It helps in modernizing agriculture, reduces heavy dependence on the agricultural income by providing jobs in non-agricultural sectors. Then we learned that another importance, we learned that industries help in creating job opportunities, and by giving more employment opportunities that will result in more income. Then export of manufacturing goods expands our trade with other countries. Not only expanding trade with other countries, it also brings foreign exchange to our country. Then the last prominence is industrial development brings prosperity to the country. Then we learned that agriculture and industry in India are interdependent on each other. Agro industries in India have boosted agriculture by raising its productivity. Industries depend on agriculture for their raw materials. Example, cotton textile industry. Industries provide many agricultural inputs like irrigation pumps, fertilizers, insecticides, PVC pipes, machines and tools and so on to the farmers. So development of different modes of transport by industrial sector has not only helped farmers to obtain agricultural inputs, but has also helped them trade their products. Then we learned about the factors that affect the location of an industry. There we learned about raw material, labor, power, capital, and banking and insurance facilities and favorable government policies. Then finally, we discussed about the classification of industries. Industries are classified on the basis of the raw materials they used, on the basis of the main role, on the basis of the capital investment, on the basis of ownership, and finally on the basis of bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods. That's all. We completed the first part of this chapter. Here you can see certain examples of the public sector industries. Thank you, students. Have a good day ahead.